Hi guys, here's Mark from the SAG in France, and I have just finished my Proline Pro Fusion. This truck is a 1/10 scale shortcut truck, but it's clear that the elements that Proline use here, the EA arms, the suspension and some stuff, are from a 1/8 scale truck. So why did I anyway buy it? Because this is way heavier than a normally 1/10 scale shortcut truck. And 1/10 scale has about 2.7 kilograms, and we have here 2.9 kilograms without lipo. That means 3.2, 3.3 kilograms with the lipo. And this because I use a small electronic setup. I use a Castle 1450 200 and 400 kV, 2400 kV with the Mamba Max Pro SCT here. But if you use a stock 1/8 scale combo in 4S, you have here the same weight as a 1/8 scale buggy. And if you put some front and rear bumper on a buggy and a shortcut buggy body on, you have also the same thing. But I like to test new things. Proline is new in kits. They have done a 2-wheel drive monster truck, a 4-wheel drive monster truck, which I never get because the price is way too high. Here in Europe we have to pay about 480 euro. That means 550 bucks to have just a roller without tires, without body. And I think this is way too much. And also the wheelbase is for me way too short. 290mm wheelbase. It means it's the size from a Traxxas Stampede, but for the price from the Proline Pro MT 4x4 you can get an Hobao Hyper MTE 6S RTR. So I prefer to go to the Hobao Hyper MTE, which big brother is on the way to me here, the MTE 2. But finally they make a short truss platform, so I get one. I have here an umbilical body on. It's clear the body is also a little bit higher in weight from a stock short truss body, but not so much. And under the hood we have here a clean, good looking car, and that's why I buy one. I really like the way they think the stuff in this truck, and as I mount the kit I get some strange surprise, because some things are strange made in here. Also the order to assemble the truck when you use the manual to get the truck together is something a little bit strange. We have also at some place too soft plastics. They put maybe many nylon in the compound, and at some parts it's really too soft. There's also one or two little failure about the setup from the mountain for the rear sway bar or something. Nothing big. We can do all, it's not a problem. For the servo wire, they do here under the front center diff some wire layout, but they don't think about what happens with the wire when you drive off-road. It goes up and down. He will go and touch here the center diff and be destroyed. Maybe they think that you have to glue it under, but I really not like this, so I drill here a little hole and put a little part from a plastic part to hold the wire down, so he never can touch here the spur gear or differential. Proline think to put the receiver here. There's not much place, and we have here a lot of moving parts, and they absolutely not make a receiver box. on an off-road car I really don't like to have no receiver box. Okay, the new receivers are the most of the time waterproof, but I like receiver box to put all my wire in, so all it's clean. So I go for a generic Chinese here receiver box to put my receiver in, and they also think about absolutely nothing to hold the ESC down on the car. They maybe all think they just the customers are all just to glue and put double face tape to maintain their electronic. That's something I did not like in off-road too, because we have many heats, we have many dust and dirt who comes through, so to just put with double side is not a solution for a long time. Also, if you want to get the stuff out from the car, for clean the car, you have to unglue and put away the old stuff from the double face. So you have to put away the side here, unglue, clean, reglue. That's nothing I like. I'm a mechanician. I like when the stuffs are screwed on or fixed with something who's screwed. I just for the moment put double face here to check what's my wire array and how the track will handle with the weight this way. And I'm happy the way I do it, so I will make here a little plate which I will screw to the chassis. I will drill 2 holes in the chassis, made 2 make 2 threads in the chassis to screw my receiver and my ESC on the chassis. This truck, when it's finished, is so heavy that you not can use a 3S setup. 3S for 3.5 kg is way too much for the lipos and for the moto. It's clear it's not a problem to make a short run from 10 minutes, but we like in Bash we like to drive longer times and many packs in a row. So I prefer to go to lower kV and more S to have really endurance with this truck. And speaking about endurance, we have here 1/8 kil drive shafts, 1/8 kil from the outside differential, but in the differential you have smaller pinion and smaller planetary. That's something I did not understand, because they do a 1/8 kil front axle. These front upper arms are killers. I had never had, even on a 1/8 kil buggy, such tough front upper arms. The underarms are like what Techno does, really tough underarms, but the upper arms are a little bit better than the other. And in the rear you just have here some little linkage. They also do a different front cell than a back cell. I don't understand this. Many manufacturer or other brands make the same front and rear bulkheads to sink the coast, and they do here a different front and rear. I would like to have the same in the rear as in the front, so I can have also these real tough and big upper arms, especially when you will drive this thing with monster truck tires, because they think on it. You can use some small 1/10 kil monster truck tires. So I also don't understand why they don't make the same shock tower front and rear and 4 same length shocked. It will be really nice to do this from Proline. I also think you can use this as a 1/8 kil buggy with 4S combo. It will be a slightly bit lighter than a stock 1/8 kil buggy, but still heavier than the Techno RC super light buggy and what 2 or 3 other brand makes. Proline makes hop-up parts for other brands, so I really expect from Proline that they will do here top-notch job. But you have a 60-61 alloy chassis, not 70-75. To not have bending problems with the chassis, they put here down under the main shaft a steel plate which is really heavy and which is bolted to the chassis. I think if they use better alloy, they don't need this overweighted center brace, so the truck will be lighter. Then for me the strangest things are the steering. Here you have a really long part on the steering, and because of the softness of the plastic, check out what happened. Did you see this? This steering part dents around before the servo saver comes to action and before the servo even move. And if I hold the tires here, you will also see the same problem here. This part flex and dents this way. This is why, because they put a nil stop here all on the end from this plastic part, instead of let this plastic part in one only part and put the screw from under there. So I will put a longer screw, I will put a spacer in and a nil stop in the bottom here to provide this part to make this and then so much. With the buggy tires or shortcut tires, that will be not an issue while driving, but with the monster truck tire I really think that will be a problem. This also not allows you to use a strong servo. There is absolutely useless to put a big and strong servo in your truck, because the steering absorb all the movement. The servo is not the fastest, it's a 23 kilogram servo, but because of this flex he's also slower in the reaction from the direction. That's this direction is really strange for me. Also the way the complete way they build it together. I will show you this with the manual. In the rear, when you listen to the setup from the manual, the arms will stop here because the roll bar stops them. First I think, okay, the shocks will not be so long, but when I put the shocks together I see that the shocks are longer than the way the sway bar holds the arm. And if you put the shocks on and let them go, here you lose these parts here, they go away because they have too much stress on it. And what you have to do is to unscrew here the stops and put it way more back to get the full suspension travel. And that's another strange thing. This should be a competition car. They tell you in the manual about ride height, but you can do nothing for the ride height. There are no screws to set the ride height, and no even no latch on the chassis here to put this screw on it to block this suspension travel. So you always will have the maximum suspension travel, even if you put shorter springs in or untighten the springs. Clearly with the weight the car will go down, but in the air you get all the ride and all the roll from the because of the highness. This is not a problem. This is a truck for drive in dirt, so it's not really a big thing, but I don't understand why they don't put some set screws in the arms. And in the front you also have a strange thing on this sway bar. You have only one screw here to hold the sway bar in place. This one allows the sway bar to move this way, but you have here a really big move from the sway bar left to right. If you check in the rear, where it's really well done, you have here also in the front two stoppers left and right, two set screws, one left, one right. You have nothing, no play here. And check out here, if I move a little bit, one arm, the other one will immediately react and go with it. But in the front, because of this big play here, you have less in the 2 or 3 first millimeters. You have less reaction from this sway bar because of that. When you're mounting the whole kit, they tell you to put the arms on the cell, to put the whole front cell on the car, and after that only they told you to put the sway bar in. So you have to work here with the screw on this side. Why not put all the fronts together in one part before fit it on the chassis? The same thing with the body mount. You have to put the body mount after, so you have the screws here from under. I don't understand. Many manufacturers make this error. I think it's way easier when you get to start to mount a kit to put first you all 4 shocks together and put it on the side, so the air can slowly go out from the oil. You can put your diffs together and then mount the complete front part, then the complete rear part with all the stuff on, with the shock, with the brace, with the sway bar, with the damper, with the bumpers, damper, and then put all together on the chassis, put your electronic in, and it will be finished. It will be much easier to work on the truck. Also, during all the mounting phase, I have all the kit putting together and small episode on my channel. It's in French, but you have the pictures, it's not a problem. Not in French, sorry. You will see some strange things. When you open the first bag, you have some parts you need only at the end from the mounting process. And each bag you open, you have more and more and more and more parts laying around on your table you not have to use before all the end. This has an explication because some parts come with some other things grabbed together, but it's really strange. For someone like me who is used to mount kits from everywhere, from every brand, it's not a problem. But for someone who make only 1 or 2 cars in a few years, this mounting process will be strange and will be long also. The other strange things, this is the front cell, is this little part here. Yeah. Here you have clearly the design where this part goes. It's not a problem. Fix the differential, put this little part, put the front bulkhead in place, because on this truck you have a quick access to the differential. Just have to put the bumpers away, 2 screws in the top, 2 screws in the back under here, and so you can put your bulkheads away. You have in your kit also no rubber sealed bearings. This is an off-road car with no waterproof bearings. I expect more from Proline. When you comes to the CVD, you have here overkill CVD head. This is steel part, a full steel part. This part is a full steel part. You have your 3mm axle. That's really cool for one-handed skill. For a truck from this size and weight, it's normal. But this little pin here has only 2mm. This is also something I don't understand, especially because they tell you can put monster truck tire on there. Okay, small 1/10 scale monster truck tire, but still monster truck tire. Monster truck tires has way more grip and stress way more the CVDs. So I don't understand here this 2mm little axle, especially when you have such a tough front suspension. You have really fat arms, really fat CVD, fat linkage and all you need, but there, just in the middle, a 2mm little pin. I don't think this will be an issue, but I don't understand why they don't go to 3mm. And here you have the strange steering. This is the part with so flex. You see here you have not many material here, and the material is way too soft, and this all part flex in all direction. You have for assemble the direction 5 screws and 5 nuts here to hold all this together, because you have 2 big screws here to hold the Ackerman plate in place, and then you have 2 more screws and 2 more nice nuts to hold the steering linkage. These little bearings here are not, how to say, they are smaller than the Ackerman plate. That means if you tighten then these 2 screws too much, you will squeeze the bearing and you will have no effect from having a bearing in the direction. So why put bearings here? Just have to put bigger steel spacers here. It will be the same job than the bearings, but you will have no problem with squeeze it. So take care when you're mounting this. This all what I tell here are not big issue, and I tell you all this because I don't understand. This is a really not cheap car. This is expensive car. You have 400 euro here to have a roller without tires, without body. Then you put approximately 200 euro electronics in, 4 tires and the body, and you will have a short cross for 700 euro. That means 900 bucks. For 900 bucks I can have 1/8 kil truckies, buggies. You can have the Timesso DB8 for only 550 bucks, which is bigger, tougher and faster than this car. So I expect really more from Proline, from the parts here and from the mounting wise from the truck. The shocks have also some few difference. They tell you to use 1/6 pistons and 1/4 pistons. You get 1/2 and 1/4. Also not a problem, but a mistake. Overall on the kit, the screws are not the best, because I don't know if they drill the holes too big for the screws, or if it's only just the compound. The compound from Proline is really soft, so if you a little bit over tighten the screw, it's too late. The screw drills in the nothing. I think they have to drill smaller holes, 2.5 millimeters. If you put 3 millimeters screws will be best, even 2.2. It's not a problem on the most parts of the car, but on the bumpers the first thing will be heat. I think that these screws will really fast go out from the plastic. Clearly also not a problem. You can easily fit 4 millimeter screws in these holes. It's absolutely not a problem. But how I say, I expect more from Proline. They make upgrade parts for other brands, so I really think that they can do better for their own kit. What I like is the battery hold down here. That's really good done. You have many positions here. You can put shorties in, long batteries, short battery in the front, in the rear, all you want. Also the mount system is super easy. And in the end it's clear, I love the truck. I drive it just for a small test in the street, 2 and 3S. The handling from this truck is really great. It feels really good on the street, and I know I will have great fun to drive this car on the track. What did I see else? Nothing, that's all. So the other thing is strange on the shocks is they have no holes here to let the ear out. When you put these parts on the shocks, you have, you know, a rubber part in, and when you fit all together there will be air catch it in, or a little bit too much oil. So many other brands made here a little hole, so when you go down with your shock caps on the shocks, the too much air or oil will go out from here until you have tightened it. When it's tightened, the joint will close it and it will be no problem. They don't do it, so you have a little bit air always catching the caps. You can do it after, it's not a problem. I don't do it because I want to mount the kit like they tell in the manual. For sure what happens, and it's so that I have in all 4 shocks a little bit here. The other thing I really not like are this plastic bushing here. I think this is something that really not have to be on a such price high kits with such a weight, because you have some pressure on the springs, you have really force who works against this, and many other brands tested before and many other brands have the same problem. This plastic part will be squeezed, you will bend the 3mm screw here, and if you look here, just by standing here you have some movement and pressure on the shock top here. That's something also I not like. No, it's not this body, I want to take it. But I think this car has really big potential. I think with Proline we make just real 1/8 kil pinion gear in the differential. The bearing are okay, they are big, it's not a problem. And put a 3mm axle in front on the CVD. This truck can be an amazing little bit lighter buggy. And what I really love is the fact that the front shock tower is really down, so they can really do a body who goes up the suspension, because we all have the same problem with our buggies, is that we always kills the front shock and shock tower by flip over. And if you look at this truck, you are way not so high with the suspension than this one, but you have here the same ground clearance, because they do a really good job on with the shock length, with the shock angle, with the CVD angle. You have the same spur brightness, just a little bit less on the short cross, but it's 5mm each side in the front, because you have no spacer. In the rear you have some spacer, and the rear is also bright than a stock buggy. It's not a problem. You have the same wheelbase than a stock buggy. So I really think that Proline can do some different type of vehicle with this thing. What I love is to have the front and rear bumper. That's something I ever miss on my buggies. Also the fact that you have nothing to provide any destroying or damage on the front shock tower. And this is why I love shortcuts, because in shortcuts we have a body who protects all what's getting the truck. The other thing I think that Proline had to do here, it's also just a small thing, but this is something many other has to do, is we have each year we have more powerful electronics, more powerful batteries. So I really need a brand to make a cover for the main gear here, so we will have no more destruction from tentative gear. If you put a metal gear here and something heats here in the pinion, you will destroy the motor or motor shaft. So I really think they should do something to protect the gears in all on and off roads, because we have more and more and more power, and we use more and more power and have fun to do it. So thanks Proline to make this great car. It's a really nice job. There are some small improvements to do. It's not a big thing, and only those who have experience will notice that. For all our people it will be awesome, and it's still awesome for me. Drive this car is a pleasure. and hope to can show you this soon in video. Like every time, if you have one, please comment what happens to you, what you destroy, what it's okay, what it's not okay, what you like on your truck, what you not like, what you think to Proline have to do with this truck to do it better, or did you really not like it, and why didn't you like it? Because I really like it. And I'm sure after a few packs I will like it also more. It's clear I have many trucks here, and this is just the half of my trucks. The other half is in the garage because I was out on the field this weekend and I have 10 trucks to clean before I can put it again in my workshop. So I get out all the other trucks I have here laying around. These are all material I have to rebuild, to work on, to test, to make you some videos. I have some trucks here I become from subscriber to rebuild and to make win plays for the people who have no money for buy an RC or little kids, and helping also the little kids. Many people send me all what they found in their basement or under the roof of their houses. What they not need, they all put it together and send it to me. I become here every week 3 or 4 or 10 bucks for material, some new stuff, some old stuff, some stuff to rebuild, some stuff I can use for help people who have no money to repair their car, and that's awesome. I live today in 2019 in a kid's dream. Since 2 years since I make the channel, because I also have to give up my job. I do with this my job. I will make more review, more videos. I repair cars for everyone. I prepare cars for everyone from A to Z. We modify, we make some different motor type in. Put 2028S, 3040S LiPo in a truck if you want. It's not a problem. We can do all, and we do all, and I hope to can show you all this. Thanks for all who follows me so long in English. I know I don't make much video in English. I have not all the time enough time to do this because I have this to do, and believe me, I work from 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening, 5 to 6 days a week, to work in the workshop, to test the cars, to film the cars, to make you the videos online, and to respond in every comment. I have a Facebook page. I give any guy who asks me on Facebook a question an answer. Sorry, I give any time for all those who mails me an answer, and I give an answer to all comments on the channel. We maybe this year get to 10,000 mark. I never expect this. I begin all small with 3 subscribers, me, my wife and my stepson. And now we are on the way to be 10,000. Without being a video professional, I'm an RC lover. I love RC in every form. I love most what I like are monster truck, brushless monster truck. Then I love short cars, buggies, truggies. I fly helicopters, plane. I go boating. I go underwater, upper water. I crash everything I get. I burn out every thing I can test, and it's a big job but a funny job. Bye guys.